Okay, everybody. I'm sorry we had a little bit of a late start. I forgot to hit the button, but we are now live. I am Sue. I am the owner of CLM Custom Designs on Etsy and YouTube channel, as well as this with all things crafting. You are here for an assessment of from the ground up, or I feature entrepreneurs twice a month. So if you've been here before, welcome. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Come on in and take a seat. Let's get ready to learn something about Miss Nache Bird, who is representing pharmacy. Oh, let me apologize because I can hear an echo. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm not sure how to fix that, so bear with us. But Nache, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nache Bird, and I am with Pharmacy. And with Pharmacy, we sell skincare, makeup, household items. The company itself has been around for 80 plus years, and I have been with them for the past 3 years.
Okay, all right. And how long have you been in doing entrepreneurship or this type of field?
So I've been doing some type of small business for probably the last 20 years.
Last 20 years. Okay, so you just got the bug and you're trying to work out where to move it. So how did you end up on this?
I was with another skincare company before Pharmacy, um, and loved the products, but just I don't. It wasn't a good fit. I never seemed to really grow with the company, and joined Pharmacy. And in my first 3 days with the company, I was recruiting and making more money than I'd ever made with my previous company that I'd been with for years and years.
Gotcha. What is it that you love about pharmacy that makes this different from the ones you got?
I really enjoy the versatility. We have a little bit for everyone. We have a skincare line, as I said. We have things for men, which my other company didn't necessarily focus too much on. So, really enjoy having things that can cover a whole scope of my clientele.
Gotcha. And if I remember correctly, you guys do household products too, not just the
Yes.
beauty part of it, right?
So we have dishwashing liquid and washing detergent, cleaners, um, gosh, a bunch of different household items in addition to those, the skincare and the makeup.
So that's kind of nice. It's kind of a one-stop shop. You can kind of get
Absolutely.
everything you need from one person, which makes it kind of nice. And like you said before, you have that versatility to kind of almost touch everybody. So, okay, if you don't wear makeup, you got to clean your house. If you're a man, I got dishes. So that definitely makes it nice. We're talking a little bit about the success that you have had so far. So talk a little bit about that.
So, with pharmacy, unlike any other direct sales company that I've been with, I actually earn 50% of my profit in commission. So if I sell something that's $10, I make $5. And that is just something that is really hard to find in direct sales. And so for me, making the switch also, that was a huge influx in my paycheck. I made more money in 6 months with pharmacy than I did with a whole year with my previous company. And it's partly due to that bonus structure with it being the 50% commission.
Gotcha. One thing that, yeah, somebody commented I had an echo. I know, I apologize in advance. I'm not sure where the echo is coming from or how to fix it. But yeah, it's driving me crazy. So I can only imagine that it's driving everybody else crazy. But I'm not exactly sure what to do. So bear with us. I'm sorry. Well, actually, whatever just happened, the echo's gone. Did you do something on your end, Shay?
I did. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I
Okay.
found the button.
I tell you, technology is only as good as its users, right? So, okay, great, guys. The echo is gone. So now we can kind of get back down to business. So, thank you, Serena, for helping us with that. One thing that I want to touch on a little bit, you said you've been kind of in these or looking for something for over 20 years. So what that tells me is that you have that entrepreneur spirit, right? So you're looking for something, but it also tells me that it's not easy, or you may not find what you need right away the first time. So talk a little bit about the struggles of being an entrepreneur and kind of finding where your niche is.
Well, my first direct sales company, actually, they went out of business. Um, but I was with them for over 10 years and I sold jewelry, which was really shocking because before then I really wasn't someone to really wear jewelry necessarily, but was invited to a party at the time and really fell in love with it and pursued that for 10 years, grew my team, had a great time. It just so happened that that company felt dissolved. So I needed to find another niche and just didn't find the same quality things in other companies and kind of sat out and kind of watched how people were moving and things that were going around. So you really need to find, I think, when you're looking at doing some type of a small business, something that you're passionate about, something that you like, something that you enjoy. Because for me, I do work a full time job and this is my fun. So if you don't enjoy sharing your products with other people, then it does seem like it's just more so a burden than you really having an outlet and enjoying yourself and being able to share your product and make that additional income.
Right, because who wants to work two full-time jobs? We already have a job, right? We don't want to work another job. And kind of touch a little bit when you talked about selling jewelry, because actually you introduced me to that business as well. But what I think is interesting about that, because we had great success in that business and it was great and people loved it. But the thing that taught me was this: we were all so invested in that, right? Doing wonderful, had teams and everything, and all of a sudden the rug was pulled out, right? So then the question is, what do you do? What do you do when the rug is pulled from under you? And like you said, you talked a little bit, you had to sit out for a minute because you needed to find something that you A, enjoy just as much, B, that you found the quality in, and C, that you found the compensation plan and things like that. And I think that's important because any one of us can open a business. And I think that Yolanda I talked to 2 weeks ago said the same thing. She had to restart her business a couple of times because it just wasn't right the first time. So speak a little bit to the tenacity and the stick to itiveness, and the tough skin that one may need to have when they're looking to go into business for themselves.
I mean, definitely when you're working for yourself, you can either work as little or as much as you choose to, which can be a blessing and a malediction. Um, you have to be a bit more scheduled. Because for me, I have a full time job. I'm a caretaker. I'm a wife. I'm a grandma. So you have to have your priorities set out and scheduling that time to do things. It's a little bit different in this virtual environment because I am much more an in person, hands on person. So reaching clientele where I'm not able to have that personalized touch has been an adjustment for me. And just trying to hone my skills. I would have never done something like this type of a platform before because that's just not, I don't feel it's necessarily my strong suit. But again, when you are kind of thrown a monkey wrench, you have to decide, are you going to let that just shut you completely down? Or are you going to use that opportunity and say, okay, I need to look at things differently. Let me try things that I normally wouldn't do in order to keep yourself growing, in order to continue to draw new clientele and expand your business opportunities. So it does take a lot of, how do you want to put it? You have to be a little bit strong willed. You're going to have a lot of no's. One of the best trainings that I ever took when I was with the jewelry company is a training that was called Go for No. And it really stressed the importance of giving someone telling you no about an opportunity that you have for them, giving it the same weight as they say yes. When someone tells you yes, you're over the moon, you're excited, you made a sale, you're making this commission. And when someone tells you no, you're disappointed. But if you give the yeses and the nos the same type of weight, it spurs you on to keep moving. And you actually kind of go for seeking out those no's because you know that after so many no's, you will get that yes. So
Oh,
just
I
really
love that.
figuring out a mindset to kind of keep you going.
I absolutely love that. So you have to be just as excited about the no's as you are about the yeses, right? So I get it. You got to get through some no's, and so the quicker you get through them, then you get to your next your yeses. Guys, that was a good little nugget. You better write that down. Um, don't be upset about those no's because you got to get them in order to get to the yeses. So it's
Absolutely.
definitely a frame of mind. Also, too, you lose a community because what that business was a community, right? It was a group of nice ladies. We had gotten to know the owners of the companies. It was really, but good to know you did not let it stop you because it could have stopped us all in our tracks because that was like everything we had, and almost overnight, it was gone.
Yes, it was so sudden.
It was gone. It was gone. So yeah, you definitely got to have some tenacity. So yeah, and I love that you said that social media isn't something that you would gravitate to because you always hear people saying, "Oh, social media is great and I love it," and yada yada yada. But it's also good to hear someone who says, "Hey, this was not something I was planning on doing. I am an in-person person. I want to touch. I want to feel. I want to get to you because that's your strong suit." But it goes to show you that you have to be flexible. And if you're serious about your business, that's what you'll do. If you just say, well, I'm not going to do that, then that kind of shows how serious you are, or not, about your business. So I love the fact that you were able to kind of pivot with that. So tell me how you've been able to use the social media, even though, right, you're not comfortable. How have you been able to use social media to kind of help you in this business since we were all kind of shut down with, the pandemic and everything? Let us know how you use social media to boost you.
So I have in the past done online parties, send information to clients in Facebook or Messenger, though I've kind of recognized that my main clientele are kind of old school like me. So,
Okay.
writing a note and sending a card, or when a new catalog comes out, hand delivering that and leaving it on their door with with the little sample or something. You kind of, for me, it was filling out my clients. And, my upline is amazing with the social media and the posting and staying on it and being scheduled. And because I recognize that's not necessarily my strong suit, I've realized that I need to do other things to supplement my contact. So if I go to a doctor's office, if they have catalogs out now or magazines, I ask, can I leave one? I make sure that I give the ladies at the front desk a catalog. So coming up with different ways outside of just strictly the social media, you can still thrive. You may not necessarily move as quickly as you want to, but you're still moving. And that's, for me, that's the biggest point, is that I may not be as successful with this that I want to be, but I am still making strides to continue to move forward. So for me, that's what's important.
Awesome. And I love the fact that you said know your clientele because social media is great and you can reach a whole lot of people, but the big thing is about retention. So if you have perhaps some elderly clients who aren't social media savvy, you do got to kind of look outside of social media and say, hey, I still need to service these people too, so that I can make sure, that I retain them because these are my ride or dies. This is how I've kind of built my business up. So I love the fact that you are being mindful of those who may not be as social media savvy, but yet and still you need to provide them with, customer service and some type of attention. So I absolutely love that. I was with a friend of mine this past weekend, and she was carrying this bag with her, and I kept wondering, why are you? We're going to IKEA. Why are you carrying this bag? But what she did, she made up little samples of some lotions and things like that that had her information, and she just randomly was giving them out to ladies inside the store, and they were so appreciative. They were like, thank you," and some of them were like, "Hey, does this have your information on the bag?" So you have to think of all those different ways. And I was a little salty because I was like, I don't have nothing to give anybody. Like so, it just made me think you do have to kind of think outside the box. You do have to. So, I absolutely love that. So we talked about some of the challenges that you have, but let's touch a little bit more on some of the great things that has happened to you, and maybe some things that have opened up to you, or people that you've met as a result, of taking on entrepreneurship.
Well, for me, I like the being able to meet different people. And again, it's offering them something that they possibly could use. I see the benefit. I know, especially for me, the upside that I've been able to really hone in on is it's delivered to you. You don't have to go anywhere. And a lot of people in this time of COVID and monkeypox and whatever else is out there are are very appreciative of not having sometimes to have to be interacting with a bunch of other folks and be able to get those things that they need delivered to their doorstep. So it's just for me, I've been trying to really think about ways for folks that are thinking like that can, I can still share with them and it can help benefit them, but also help me continue to move my business.
Awesome, awesome. So within what you're doing now, you're building a team. Is it the same type of process where you're bringing ladies on and things like that, like it was before?
Yeah, so with pharmacy, it is an initial $19.99 investment to join the business, which for me was another huge draw.
Yes.
There's no annual fee, there's no website fee monthly. Um, and when you sign up, you have an initial time that you can choose to make a larger investment into your business and receive an additional 70 to 80% off of different kits that are offered, but that's not necessary. When I signed up with the business, I believe I also received an addition. I did an $80 kit because I was trying to sell off my old product in order to finance my new product because didn't want to come out of pocket any more money. And that's where I kind of ended up and felt comfortable with. But folks have built their business with that 1999 kit and just have really hit the ground running. And again, it's how you want to run your business, where you figure out where your niche is, how your market is. So for those folks, I don't, some have really didn't done well with the social media aspect. Some folks are back to doing in-home presentations and things like that. So it's really, for me, I found this was a low startup. I don't have to have product on hand, though, of course, with any business, it's nice to have product on hand because if someone wants that mascara today and you have it, that's a guaranteed sale. you know, Women typically want that instant gratification. So, those type of things are helpful, but that's not necessary for you to run your business, which is also, I think it's a huge benefit.
So you just found ease with this. Now, I'm going to go back just a little bit because you said you've been doing things for over 20 years and you've been touching. So I want to talk about that because people may think, oh, well, man, she's been doing business after business after business. And here we go. But let's talk about the fact that even though you were smart enough to realize you still are in your niche, it's still beauty. Even though I might have started with jewelry, right? It's still making women feel good and look good. It's branched off into makeup or, skincare products, which you've kind of stuck to. So you realize that your niche is making women feel and look good, right? So whatever that entails. And now, since the jewelry thing was over, you kind of have been in that beauty industry and doing that. So I say that to say you may have to change and do different things, but it's not like you want to selling encyclopedias from door to door. You've stayed within your wheelhouse, right?
Right. And
So
it's still about what you're passionate about. Again, for me to go and sell Cutco knives would not have been, I like to cook. I'm not necessarily sold on cookware.
right.
Um, so there was things like that I took into account. Also for me, I even though it didn't work that way with jewelry, I looked for something that my clients would use and want to reorder. Because now I was thinking in terms of, okay, let's work smarter, not harder. Not to say that I didn't have jewelry customers who came to me faithfully every 3 or 4 months and bought the world.
Right.
I also still recognize the benefits that if someone liked my dish detergent or they liked the foundation or the eyeshadow or the mascara, those things do run out and then need to be replaced. So then you're building that customer relationship so it can be orders that are continually coming in, not necessarily every month, but they're cyclical,
Right.
which also was beneficial for me.
So you had a plan. This wasn't just you woke up and said, today I feel like I'm going to be an entrepreneur and do this. It took some planning. It took some forethought. You may not have initially known what you wanted to do, but you were looking at different opportunities. You were looking at all phases and aspects of that. And I think that's what people have to do. You can't necessarily jump at the first thing that's offered to you. You need to really look at compensation plans, look at how much time you're going to have to invest. More importantly, you have to look at the quality of what you're going to do. See, that's my thing. If it's not something that I'm going to wear, I'm going to use, then I can't really talk about it. I can't promote
Exactly.
it, right? Because it has to be something that like you said, that you're passionate about, either wearing it and using it. And then that's typically how it parlays into a small business, quite honestly. It's something that you've used, or something that you've created, and you love it, and it's like, oh man, I need to, you tell people about it, and it's like, hey, well, you should sell that, you should do that. But
Right.
it definitely starts with the plan. And so, like I said, you stuck through. If you find out that you're in one business and it's not working for you, or things change, then you look and you research and you move on to the next thing, because that's what entrepreneurs do. We don't just say, it's kind of like with your regular job. If something happens, you look for another one. You don't just
Dust
decide I'm
that
not going to work
resume off.
anymore.
Absolutely. Dust the resume off and keep it moving.
That's right. You update that resume. And so it's the same thing when you have that entrepreneur spirit. You might sit out for a while, but that bug is gnawing at you, and it's like, okay, it's time to get back into it. It's time to figure out what I want to do, and move on. Um, you talked a little bit about balance. How do you find that balance? You said you're a mother, a wife, a caregiver, you work full time, you're a puppy mom. You got a lot.
Scheduling.
Yeah. Okay.
Scheduling is the biggest thing. You know, Not so much for me. When I was doing more in home things, I would have certain days of the month that I would do in home parties. So now for me, I need to make sure that I'm cognizant and I schedule time during the week to have the touches, to send my text messages or make those phone calls to clients to see if they are running out of anything. If I'm going to place a bulk order, is there something I can throw in there for you to help you, save on your shipping costs? Though the shipping costs are really decent, but those little incentives where someone may be thinking about something, well, oh, well, I can save a couple more bucks. And well, instead of paying that, $3, $4 for shipping, then let me go on and get an extra tube lipstick, or let me get extra mascara or extra powder. Those things also, you just have to schedule that in order to have those touches, because when you not necessarily bombard them all the time, but every other month give that personal touch to your client. It also lets them know that you're important to them, that you appreciate them supporting your business. I am a big person on, if I have clientele that order and I am delivering, I always put a handwritten note. If they have something shipped to them, I will send them a thank you card to thank them for supporting my small business. Just those little personalized touches that a lot of folks aren't used to anymore. They don't get that anymore. I think we've been kind of bombarded with the phone and the text messages, but that handwritten old school note kind of hits some heartstrings with folks.
Yeah. And we're always looking for something that kind of sets us apart from everybody else, because we know there's ton of beauty products out there. It's a big old beauty industry, and there's tons of people within your own company. So once we can find something that sets us apart or gives us that little edge on something else, that's what we're talking about when we talk about retention. We want to keep people coming back. We want to make sure that when they think about, pharmacy, they're thinking about Nache. So all of those things are truly important. So if you had to give some advice to someone who is thinking about starting a business or thinking about getting into this entrepreneur world, what would you say to them?
First and foremost, figure out what it is that you're passionate about. Because when you really enjoy something, you're going to talk about it. If you get a new pair of shoes and they are the most comfortable pair of shoes that you have had on your feet, you may not work for UGG or you may not work for Vans or wherever else, but you're telling your friends and your family and your girlfriends, oh my goodness, these shoes are so comfortable. You should go get you a pair. So when you are starting your own business and you're using products that you're passionate about, that you really like, that you really see the difference in how they're helping you, you're going to have that same type of enthusiasm speaking to others about that, which then can help draw you customers. So it's not even a matter of, oh, my friend is doing this. Let me do that because my friend is doing it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Figure out what is for you. Count the cost. You know, if you don't have a bunch of money to sign up for a business and this business is going to cost you out of your budget, not to say that you don't go for that, but make sure you sit down and have a game plan on how you're going to cover those costs so that you're not going in and now you're scrambling and you're hurried and it's no longer fun or enjoyable because you're just worried about getting back those startup costs. So there's pieces like that that I think that are also very important when you're starting a business.
Yeah, because we always tell people don't chase the money, because if you're chasing the money, you're gonna be disappointed all the time because money doesn't come as quickly as we want money to come,
Right.
right? So you have to be in it for the love, for the passion of what you do, and then the money will come because sometimes things take a long time. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's not coming. It just means sometimes you got to persevere and you got to stay at it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when people don't see results right away, because we live right now in a microwave society, period. Young people in particular, like you said before, instant gratification. Everything is like now, now, now. But business isn't like that. Now, that's not to say you don't get a one off and you create something and it just boom. But for the most part, for most of us out here, right, in this
You
hustle,
have to
it's
work.
not quick. Yeah, it's endurance. It's endurance. It's the good days, it's the bad days. Like you said, it's those no's. But if you love what you do, you just keep grinding at it. You keep grinding at it, and eventually, you're gonna see some growth. It's like planting. You know what I mean? You can plant something and the deers can come and eat it, or a early frost can make it die, you know what I mean? But you keep at it, and eventually you're gonna see some blooming. You know about that. You just did
Yes.
that whole garden. Off subject a little bit. How is your garden though? We haven't talked about your veggies, and I haven't gotten any carrots in a minute. What's going on?
No garden this year. We thought we were going to move. So I didn't want to invest in putting a garden in and then not being able to utilize it. Now that I've stayed, I regret not doing it because grocery prices,
Yeah.
that little garden was saving lots of money. But
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, and the other big thing I think when you're starting your business is to not compare yourself with others. You're going to move at your own pace. You're going to move as quickly or as slowly as you put into it. And just because someone else might be blowing up from your perspective, you don't know what they're doing to get there. So really try not to be comparing yourself with the next person. Just work at your pace, set your goals, and go that way. And don't let anyone else try to tell you what you should be doing. You have to be very clear in your boundaries and how you want to move with your business and what you want to get from it and to go from there.
And that's so important, especially in the social media age, because everything that we see on social media, you can put it out there the way you want it to be perceived, right? So you can think, oh, this person is blowing up and all these great things, but you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So it is important not to look at that and kind of gauge yourself on that. And I can speak from experience because this whole YouTube thing, it used to blow my mind. I'd be like, I got 2 followers. What in the world is happening? They got 2025, and so I used to do that a lot. I was one of these people that would always be like, well, man, for this amount of time or whatever, I should be here. And I had to say, whoa, 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 you've only been doing this thing for a minute. And sometimes when you're like a perfectionist, or, you're hard on yourself, you can really fall into that, right? Because you want to be doing this, and you see people in your same business, and you want to do this, that, and the third. And sometimes businesses can even promote a little healthy competition, but you got to be careful, because people's circumstances are different. Some people are doing this full time, and that's all they do. But like
Right.
you said, there's other people who are working a full time job and doing a whole bunch of other things. So it is definitely important to run your own race. Do you?
Yes,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Yeah, I have to say that for sure, for sure. So pandemic is, I think I'll say over, but I'm not even really sure if that's a good word to use. But we will say, I think we're living with the pandemic now, right?
There we go. The new
So
normal.
the new normal, right? So now that that's the case, where do you see your business going? What, looking maybe, I don't know, the next couple of years, kind of where do you see yourself? Are you sticking with the social media? Are you now going back in person? Kind of where you see yourself going?
I'm still kind of torn simply for family dynamic reasons. Yeah, I'm still very much in I am a mask wearer, and I know that not necessarily everyone is, and that's their prerogative.
Sure.
So, you know, I would be open to in home shows if folks were open. Um, haven't really had a lot of interest for that. A lot of folks have been, for the most part, satisfied with the online aspect, or even like a one on one visit,
Okay.
which I'm totally open for because I do have those folks that are like me. You want to touch it, see it, smell it, and I understand that. Um, so I think just time will tell how that's all gonna fall out. So right now I think I'm just gonna continue the course. I have a little mix of everything. Um, know that I need to be stronger in some areas than others, and just continue to work on that over the next couple of years and continue to try to grow and see where it takes me.
Right. And that's the thing. Not everybody wants to quit their job and do it full time. Some people are quite content with just making it a side hustle, just getting out of the house for a little bit, maybe getting an adult conversation if they have small kids. Not everybody's looking for something different out of their business, which is another reason why you don't compare. Because everybody's, why is different. So, whatever it is, like you said, take it as it comes, which is kind of nice. No pressure, no stress. Whatever it does is kind of what it does. So tell us how we can find you.
So you can reach me on my website, which is there at the bottom, pharmacyus.com/nbird. Um, there you can pull up my website. You can pull up the complete catalog. You can message me there. Um, also, I can be reached at shebyrd@gmail.com, which is CHEBYRD at
Okay.
gmail.com. And I will answer your emails there. Preface pharmacy when you're in the subject line so that in case you get kicked to my spam filter, I'm able to fish you out of the great abyss. um, and those are the two ways that are probably the easiest to reach me.
Do you have a pharmacy page on Facebook or no? Or Instagram? I don't know. I don't.
I
Some,
have a customer page on Facebook where I do post some things there. Um, to be honest, I haven't been quite up to date as I should because again, social media is not my strength.
gotcha.
But I do have a presence there, and if you're interested, like again, drop me a line and I can pop you an invitation over to that.
Okay, that sounds good. So even though you may not have a large footprint on social media, you're getting started. You're kind of getting your feet wet and doing that. Because I have to say too, social media is not my thing. Speaking the girl who's doing a YouTube channel and a live stream at the moment, but it's not something that I ever saw myself doing. It just kind of came about that way, like you said, pandemic and a whole bunch of other things. So, you're getting started, you're getting your feet wet. The more you do it, perhaps you'll love it. But the point of it is that you're doing it, like you said, even
Yes,
if it's little
baby
steps.
steps.
It's forward movement, forward momentum, And so that's the thing. So, is there anything else you want to share with the people? Any other advice? Anything you want to say about pharmacy? Anything else? You want to shout out your team? Go. I don't know what's the name of your team. Do you have a name?
Don't have a name. Had a name. Didn't like the name.
I was gonna say because I thought y'all had a name. I thought I was
We had a name, and then now kind
making
of
it
like
work for
yeah.
y'all, but what happened?
But yeah, I just think I think find something that you're passionate about. If you're looking to start a small business, I'm free to talk. Um, don't feel like I would pressure you to join pharmacy per se, but I feel like you can brainstorm within any business something that might work for your business. See, would may not necessarily work for mine in the same way, but we could brainstorm and branch off and have different ideas and bounce those things back and forth. So don't be afraid to talk to others who are um, pursuing that same path of having a small business because you actually can grow and learn a lot from one another and then network. I never would have had the opportunity to do anything like this if it hadn't been the invitation to come. And just that networking is then allowing me to look at things a little bit differently and saying, maybe I could do something like this. So, a lot of networking is key to, I think, when you're looking at starting a business on your own, because when you have that good customer service and your customers are satisfied and they're loving your product, they're going to refer to their friends as well. So, again, it's just kind of like blowing out. So, just don't give up. Boots in, boots to the ground. Just keep running. You'll get there.
And sometimes people are scared to share ideas because they think somebody's going to steal them, and all that. And some people may do that, but you can't think about that when you're trying to grow your own business. That's one of the reasons why I started from the ground up, is because I wanted people to be able to have access to entrepreneurs. We are everyday people. We're not people that are inaccessible. We live in the neighborhood. We are around the way girls. Um,
Right.
and we network. That's what we do. You help me out, I help you out. You know what I mean? Even though we may not be in the same, like you said, niches or what have you. And we're always willing to share. That's the thing. Somebody had to share with us, so there's no secret. There's none of that type of thing. I always say businesses are like fast food chains. There's a Burger King and a McDonald's on every corner. Somebody's gonna like Burger King and somebody's gonna like McDonald's. So
Absolutely.
it's okay that we're in the same businesses, or touching close like that. That doesn't matter. We
Right,
all.
because ultimately, what's for you is for you.
You absolutely got it. And like you said, your little touches and your little sprinkles, it is what it is. And if somebody comes to me with something like that, I might be able to kick it your way because I don't do beauty. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So it is important to have a good network system, and all the entrepreneurs that I feature on my channel, are always available to talk. You can drop something in the chat, or ever drop something on my channel, and I will definitely hook you up with any one of the entrepreneurs that I feature on my channel. But it's important to know where people are, because some of the things that we're looking for, we can find locally in small businesses if we just don't know it.
Absolutely.
So we got to get out here. We got to make ourselves known, and social media isn't for everybody. But since I'm on here, I'm dragging all my peoples with me to help me out, and then to also get them before people, and help them to be, visible. So I very much enjoyed this conversation. I know you were going into this nervous, worried about what we was going to say.
Yes.
It's just girlfriends chat, and that's what we do. We just chat, talk.
But thank you for
Sometimes
having me. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I don't have on my from the ground up t-shirt today, because I tell you, I was exhausted this week. I don't know. Well, yes, I do. I started my new work schedule. I work 7 to 3:15 now, and I am a morning person, but I'm used to getting up early and kind of mulling around and doing my thing. Now I got to get up and get going and get out. So I think that this week just kind of came down on me Friday. Don't got no earrings on, because I came home today and I was like, I just gotta take a nap. And I don't even nap during the day. Like, I would be going to bed for the night. So
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I don't have my T-shirt on that I normally feature on every segment of From the Ground Up, but I am representing my purple, which is my next love.
Yes, we
But
see.
I will have a T-shirt for you for being, one of the people that I feature because I appreciate you coming on and taking some time out of your Friday evening to sit and chat with me. And like I tell everyone, if you want to be featured on my channel, certainly drop something down in the description, and I can feature you. If you know someone else who would benefit and would like to be featured. In the chat, Sabrina saying, "Yeah, I was wondering where your shirt was." Yeah, I know. It's just been a week. I'll be back on my game in 2 weeks when I feature my next entrepreneur. But that will be on its way to you, Miss Nache. Thanks
Thank
everybody for
you.
hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't get the chance to see it live, you can certainly catch it on the replay. Any of the people that I have interviewed are still up on the channel, so you can get with them at any time and watch those at your own time. So again, guys, hopefully you enjoyed your week and you're gonna get have a great weekend and recharge for next week. And Nichelle, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Thank you.
And I am going to sign out.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to end the broadcast.